What's up, and welcome back to the show. I'm your host, Samantha Warren. I'm so excited you're here. And today we're going to talk about 5 signs you are not using your voice enough as a founder and exactly what this silence is truly costing you. As you know, I own a podcast and media company, and so much of the work I do with our clients and helping them get their voice out there and start and grow their podcasts is double down on their voice and amplifying their voice. But before we can even do that, I always talk with them about what are the things in their personal life and their professional life and their team with their clients that they are not saying. Where are they not trusting themselves in that part of life? Because that ultimately will show up in the opportunities that you attract with your external voice. So these are the 5 signs that you are not using your voice enough as a founder. We're going to get right into them, okay? So, number 1, you are overriding your gut to keep the peace. I find this generally with people and founders and CEOs who just generally care about their work, about their clients, about their team, about just people generally. They have a love for people. And so they would rather not rock the boat, or they want to keep the peace, but they're overriding what their gut is telling them. And maybe for you right now, there's something in your business where something feels off. It could be a team member, it could be an offer, it could be a way that you work with people, it could be a client, whatever it is. Something feels off and you talk yourself out of it. But at the end of the day, your inner voice is your guidance system. And your instincts, that first initial knowing, is data, okay? Ignoring that is how bad hires are made. It's how bad partnerships form. It's how bad clients stick around, or they stick around way longer than they should. And when you are a founder, your energy is one of your most important assets. And so if there's things right now that are not working for you, or you feel like you're constantly frustrated or you're beating your head against the wall, it's likely because you're overriding your gut to keep the peace. So ask yourself, where are you doing this? What are the things and the people in your life that are continually bringing up this feeling of like something is off? These red flags are there to give you data, and you need to trust your instincts. So that is number 1, is where you are overriding your gut instinct to keep the peace. Number 2, you are watching red flags and waiting for them to fix themselves. I see this a lot where founders are just kind of waiting for permission. You're waiting to be able to do the thing that you already want to do. And what happens is nobody will ever give you the permission that you are looking for. And so it just compounds, it just gets worse. The relationships that actually are not working, or the friendships or the collaborators that maybe you started off with in month 1, but there was always a red flag, and now you're 6 months in and it's a crisis. It's because you didn't listen to that initial red flag. And so as a founder, you have to get better and better and better and faster at identifying red flags. And they show up in very subtle ways, which is why it is so important to have time on your calendar every week and every day for yourself to really tune into what are the things, what are these red flags, what are these sticky things, what are the things that we need to have a conversation about, or what are the things that are just not working and they've consistently not been working, whether it's a month in or 6 months in, or maybe 5 years in. You have friendships or people in your inner circle who are just, oh my God, energy vampires. That is number 2. Number 3, your team can't support you because you haven't told them what you need. Okay. As I have shared that I've just completed the hiring process, and I took my time, and I'm so glad that I did, because I found my unicorn and it's great. And I hope that that continues, obviously, and I trust that it will. Um, I made it very clear to her that our relationship needed to start with 2 main things. 1 is trust, and 2 is communication. I've shared this multiple times with Monique Hellstrom, who is Simon Sinek's right hand, talks about these 2 things being critical for a team. And if you don't trust your team and you don't communicate with your team, it's like a ticking time bomb. Like, you can never be supported. You will never get what you need because you're not asking for it. It's the same in relationship. It's funny sometimes, and especially at the beginning of our relationship with Kurt, I would expect things from him and he didn't know that I wanted that. And so I would be annoyed when he wouldn't mind read. And what I've realized is that you need to just ask. You never get what you don't ask for. And so your team cannot support you because you haven't told them what you need. And you're pretending everything's fine, but you're running on empty and your team is working hard, but they don't actually know what's going on. And so you need to be vulnerable with your team and sharing what you need and sharing what's actually coming up for you is not weakness. That's actually true leadership. People want to follow leaders who are not perfect, who actually are leading the way and being vulnerable on the path of their mission. And so there is no shame in it. It's actually a better way to bond with your team and they're going to see you as a human and want to be a ride or die for you. All right. So that is number 3. Your team cannot support you because you haven't told them what you need. Number 4 is you as the founder, as the face, as the CEO, you are the engine, but you're likely not refueling as often as you need to be. I talk so much on the show about us building missions, not businesses. And yes, on a 3D level, sure, we're building businesses, but at our core, we have a mission on our heart and we are here to bring that to life. And whether you identify this as being in your purpose or just bringing your mission to life, it is a mission. And so you are in that mission control seat. And if you are not getting gas, the rocket ship cannot keep going. And so your energy ultimately powers everything, which is why team is so critical because your energy is the fuel line. But if you are not replenishing your energy, and this could happen in a variety of ways, you don't need to go on a 2-week luxury vacation. Although, if you would like to do that, please by all means go for it. But you need to protect your energy. And it's not like self-care fluff. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about like the business decision of protecting your energy and refueling when you need to refuel. Because it is not possible to just keep going 24/7 all of the fucking time. It's not. You need to rest, recharge, refuel, get creatively inspired. I do that all of the time throughout the week. I get in nature, I go for hikes, I read, I make sure that I'm doing this for me. I was just on a call this morning with a group that I'm a part of, and just like tuning into the CEO's energy is such a fun, like lightning bolt to start my Monday morning. And so it's like making sure that you are refueling and you're receiving, you're filling up your cup. Whether you love bubble baths or getting your nails done or hair, all those things are great. But I mean like soul refueling, whatever that means for you. Okay. Number 5 is your silence will become your biggest business expense. And this is what I mean. We're talking about signs that you're not using your voice enough as a founder, but silence ultimately ends up with resentment, with unspoken agreements, with unspoken expectations, with misalignment, and with your vision and mission going this way, and maybe your team or the people that you're leading going another way. And whether it's flat content that's not polarizing, it doesn't stand for anything, it's vanilla, you're hiding behind infographics, or the half present meetings or calls where you're not fully showing up, or the lack of creativity, like that is the expense. And when you use your voice to either advocate for yourself or set the boundaries or do the things that you need to do, that actually replenishes your energy and helps you connect back to your power. I know that we have a pretty mixed listening base. We do have men that listen, we do have women that listen. But I know for a lot of women specifically, they hire voice and visibility, and we are helping them grow their shows and getting them out there. So much of what we talk about is that they don't want to post something that offends somebody or share about somebody else in their story. So they don't share at all. Or they have this feeling of like being killed or being burned at the stake or being attacked or being canceled. And these are all real, but they're not big enough for you to not use your voice. And so, whatever you need to do, whether it's blocking, muting, or just deciding that in this lifetime you are showing up and using your voice, that is just what you got to do. There's nothing more than that. You don't need to go digging into your past lives, although you can. It's about realizing that your silence will become your biggest business expense if you don't get ahead of it, right? The business that you're building, the mission that's on your heart, it needs the real you and not the edited, nice, people pleasing, appeasable, available version of you. It's going to require you to step into bigger leadership, to not be as available, to actually set those boundaries, to say yes when you really mean yes, and to say no every other time. And you can say it kindly, but at the end of the day, this is you stepping into leadership, and leadership requires your voice. And so this week's assignment for you is to pick one thing that you have been holding back. You could say it to your team, a partner, yourself, somebody that you're in friendship with, something that has really been bugging you. It's consuming your brain. It's in your field, it's in your energy, and you're like, "Oh my God, like I just need to say this thing." I can't tell you the amount of times that when something has been off in either my business or personal life and I've just said the thing, I feel so much relief, but then also something magical happens. It could be like a new client finds us, or I get an opportunity to speak somewhere, I get invited to MC. Like there's always a correlation between letting that stagnant, stuck, repressed energy go and then receiving something new. And I've seen it time and time again. I've had clients come to me. When I used to business coach strictly, I had a client that was going through a huge relationship issue, and she also was simultaneously scaling her business. And she couldn't scale past like, I don't know, it was like 200K or something. And we worked a lot on her relationship. And once she figured that out, her business exploded and she was able to break through her business plateau financially. So oftentimes, business plateaus, visibility plateaus, podcast plateaus, whatever they are, they're plateaus because of something else in your life that you're not saying, doing, or thinking. And so it's up to you to kind of do the digging to be able to uncover what is the thing that you are not saying? What's the thing that you've been holding back? Because ultimately, you've probably held a lot of things back over your lifetime, and you're not going to clear them all on this one episode. But what you are going to do is start to release the valve and allow more of these things that you've been holding back come to fruition, right? And I know I've spent literally the last decade getting to know my inner voice and using my external voice to advocate for myself, to say things when I don't feel like they're right, or to speak up. And even in the last week, I've had to use my voice multiple times to say to people, hey, this happened, and I really wish we could have done this, or hey, this didn't sit right with me, or whatever, just to be fully expressed. And it builds a level of trust and ability to feel safe enough to express without freaking out or blowing up. And so I'm going to encourage you to do this. Pick one thing you've been holding back and say it to somebody, because you have been holding on to things that are not yours to hold on to anymore. You have been abandoning yourself in something. You have been ignoring red flags. And at the end of the day, those things are really going to come back to bite you in the ass if you don't address them. The longer you wait, the bigger tax there is on that thing. And so I want to encourage you to use your voice and to really not shove that voice down, right? Like as a founder, you have a responsibility to lead. And so this is a non-negotiable. So these are the 5 signs you are not using your voice enough as a founder. If this episode landed, resonated, send it to a friend, send it to a fellow founder, CEO, business owner, somebody who needs to hear this, who knows that they are not using their voice enough. Because at the end of the day, your voice is your superpower. It's going to build the reality you want, build a business you want, build a mission you want, and actually help you achieve everything that you've ever wanted and have the life that you want. And so I want to empower you to use it as your biggest asset in life and business and relationships. I love you. Thank you for being here on Own It with me, and I'll see you soon.